Then this year, with our new director, we decided to do different topics per month. So we started out this year with a fresh start, which didn't occur because of the snow. So, and then we went to, I can't think of what was the next one. Anyway, it was self-care. Self-care was for the month of February. Love yourself, take good care of yourself. And March was AI and technology. And this month is the outdoors. Since it's spring and people get out to get more movement in, more fresh air, et cetera, and in their gardens, walk the hikes, et cetera, et cetera. But this month, this spring has kind of been up and down a little bit with the temperature, hot and cold. So we're going to start. The first speaker that we're going to have is going to be from the Forest Services, and his name is Michael Hill. Mr. Hill, would you come forward, please? And I'll let him tell you a little bit about himself and his organization, and the organization that he represents.
So I'm gonna just share this with you, pass that around, and that'll be reference for this conversation. Hi everyone, my name is Mike Hill. I'm a landscape architect. I work for the U.S. Forest Service, and I'm stationed here in Washington, D.C. Thank you for inviting us to participate and be a part of this. There's some documents going around that'll basically be the bulk of my presentation. I wanted to make sure I'm happy to be able to be here and talk about opportunities in the great outdoors that are available to veterans. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was why the great outdoors. And there's lots of benefits, certain cardiovascular health, muscular strength and flexibility, and respiratory health, but also mental health. Engaging in outdoor activities builds skills and nurtures positive emotions. There's also social connection that you get from engaging in a hike or a bike ride or a camping trip with friends or colleagues. So the question then becomes, what are the opportunities? So if you flip to the first page, there's a number of opportunities here in the DC area that are specifically for veterans. Joint Base Anacostia Bowling has an outdoor recreation center, and they offer equipment rentals for boating, camping, and biking. So you can just go there as a veteran and get those services. Also, Fort Belvoir has a travel camp, and they provide camping, cabins, fishing, boating, and hiking. And if you notice, like this, the way this document is set up, if you see a QR code next to one of the items, you can just look at that QR code and it'll take you to the website for that stuff. US Vet Connect is a national veterans outdoor hub. They help veterans connect with outdoors in all 50 states, including the District of Columbia. The Greenwell Foundation in Greenwell State Park, Maryland, has special programs for veterans, specifically for veterans. So there are also, if you flip to page 3, there's 2 programs that are specifically for veterans that are living with a disability. The Paralyzed Veterans of America and the Wounded Warrior Project offer specific outdoor programs for veterans. And I wanted to also point out that veterans have the opportunity to get a free lifetime pass to visit any federal land management agency recreation site. It's over 2,000 sites in a multitude of agencies. You can come and present any of your ID cards that denote the fact that you're a veteran, or you can go online to the U.S. Geographical Service, and there's a store there, and you can just sign up and get a free outdoor pass. You can get a hard pass. Now they're switching over to digital passes. You can carry it on your phone, show up at any outdoor recreation site. It can be a historical site like the Frederick Douglass House, or it can be a campsite, and you can then get in for free. Your thing will be waiting. And that's available to active duty, veterans, and also Gold Star families.
Also, hunting and fishing license are free as well.
Hunting and fishing licenses are sometimes done by the state, and they may not be free. But also, the other thing that I would point out is that oftentimes a state park will honor that federal pass for veterans. So sometimes you can even use that at a state park. It's always worth asking if you go to a state park. So national parks near Washington, DC. There's an entire page of all the national parks in the Park Service that are near Washington, DC. There's an online ArcGIS map of all the regional U.S. fish and wildlife sites, so that you can visit as well. And I also want to point out, here in DC, we have the benefit of having the National Arboretum, which is a great place to go. They have a wonderful collection of plants. They have cultural and historic and educational events. The DC Youth Garden is at the Arboretum, and there's also plenty of space to go for a walk, have a picnic, or go for a bike ride. The two national forests that are close to DC, and they're not that close, but they're the ones that are in this region, are the Monongahela National Forest and the the George Washington Jefferson National Forest. And there's URL and QR codes for both of those sites. You can go to those places. There's lots of outdoor recreation opportunities on either one of those forests, and you can find out more by going to visit. So that's it. I brought you guys some swag. There's some lunch boxes over there with a little thing in them. Please feel free to take one before you go, and I will answer any questions later on in the program after everybody else has spoken. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hill. We appreciate you. And next on our agenda is Brian King from DPO. Okay.
I already said that.
You're okay. So you're the one that had the cord.
It's not my cord, but it was
Okay,
here,
it
so I
was here,
figured
so,
I might as well take
I
it.
understand.
So thank you, everyone. I appreciate the invitation. I'll give you a little bit of background on who I am. I know we have 15 minutes, so I'm going to go pretty fast, but we'll have time for questions. So I'm actually a DC native, born and raised here. People don't believe it. I was actually born at Georgetown University Hospital. Lived on Mail Road until I was 5. We moved out to the suburbs. Actually, and I say that because being a city kid, I went to Virginia Tech and got a forestry degree, if you can believe that. So, pretty interesting stuff. So, and then this is my 15th year with DC government. I was the Fisheries and Wildlife Director at DOEE for 13.5 years, and I've now been with DPR for about a year and a half. This is my contact information. Name, agency, title, phone number, email. You can write those down, and I'll be here for a while. Obviously, if you want to, we want to come back to that. So, some of the programs we have at DPR. First, we'll say none are specifically designed for irrigated pond veterans, but I chose some that I think would be most beneficial. So, one is the Communal Farms Program. I know there's a lot of writing up here, but I'll talk through it. So. The Communal Farms Program is a citywide operation that basically offers gardening, urban agriculture, and community engagement. And the primary focus of that is to provide healthy food options for those who may be experiencing food insecurity or living in food deserts. So, but under this classification we have, under Communal Farms we have 3 classifications. Communal Farms Program, the Communal Farms themselves are actually owned and operated by DPR staff, of which there are 3, Edgewood, Powell, and Woody Wood. Then we have Partner Urban Farms, which is property owned by DPR, operated by DPR partner, and produce is donated to the community or sold to the farm. Some of this is a little oversimplified, and I know I'm talking fast, so I'll build in time for questions. And then third are community gardens themselves, and those are owned by DPR, overseen by a garden manager, and generally cultivated for personal use. So I bring these up specifically because there are 3 specific ways to get outside, and if you want to help your community by growing food, or you want to grow it yourself, it is a great opportunity to get outside and be involved with your community or help things like climate change, locally sourced foods, that sort of thing. So that is one. And under this program, we have, this is just a specific program under communal farms, but this is a specific event that is May 5th. It's called Farm to Fork, and it's a great program. It meets once a month, and we've just been really lucky. We've been sort of focusing on specific dates. So last week, 2 weeks ago, we had Earth Day focus, and we sort of structured this one around Cinco de Mayo, which is next week. They are at Arboretum Rec Center, and this is our culinary artist and Green Things Berkeley. So I mentioned here, sign up is required. I'll come back to that, but that is just one particular very successful program that we have. And again, not specifically designed for seniors, but it is open to all and what we would consider to be intergenerational. So great opportunity. I've been to one, it's outstanding. Next, this is charter service. Now, this isn't a DPR program, but I mention it for a couple of reasons. There is only one charter outfit based in the District of Columbia, and it is this guy. It is Fishermen of Potomac. And we are working with this gentleman, his name is Tim Blanchard, to start running some programs through DPR to Fishermen of Potomac. And they do offer a lot of, and I want to be very clear, this is a fee for service. We don't pay, but it is an opportunity, and trying to funnel recreational opportunities through DPR to people who are and can accommodate everyone. So that's why I mentioned this one specifically. So any anglers out there, and quick, I won't get too much into the fishery side of it. I was actually the fisheries director here too. DC has one of the most prolific shad runs in the country, one of the most prolific striped bass runs in the country. And for better or for worse, it's a pretty vibrant blue cat fishery. Blue cat fishery is invasive, but they will put a bend in your rod and they're fun to catch. So this is this gentleman's information. The owner is named Tim Blanchard. That is their phone number. They are located at George Marina, 515 M Street Southeast, so just down the street from Matt Park. The DPR Hike Club. This is something that we do sponsor at DPR. And it's just what it sounds like. It is a monthly hike club. You meet once a month, and it is a guided tour through one of many DC green spaces. And the hike crew and the DPR staff are the people who lead that. Sign up is required, but this is about an hour-long hike. So it is outdoors. It is strenuous. It is pretty active. And in the summertime, it can get pretty hot, but it is a great time, great opportunity to get outside. It's just what it is. Yes, ma'am.
Do they have a regulated rate to which they go, or speed upon the group at the time, or?
No, it's whatever's comfortable. So there are multiple people. That's a great question, actually. So there are generally 5 to 7 hike crew members and or DPR staff. So everyone can go at their own pace. There have actually been, instances where someone says, hey, look, I can't make it, I want to go back. So there are enough people, staff, and hike crew members to make sure that everyone is comfortable. So you can go at your own pace, and there is a set start time, but there is no set end time. So if you want to take an extra hour and take pictures and do your thing, there will be someone with you the entire way. So no one is left behind. Because it is a DPR sponsored event, someone from DPR staff will be with someone at all times. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Getting a little more aggressive. Kayak and paddleboat. A lot of fun. Now, the kayak and paddleboat program is just what it's an introduction to kayaking and paddle sports. A little more aggressive, but it teaches basic instruction, paddling techniques, boat safety, and what boat might be best for you, your skill level, your comfort, or conditions in which you will be kayaking. Classes are taught at Turkey Thicket, and a sign up is required for that as well. But all of the, and what also is an introduction to open water diving. There are some, we do some later in the summer, but this is the basis of the program, is a structured setting in the pool, because you can't train in open water. But like I said, a little more aggressive, but a lot of fun. And the last is partnership opportunities. This is more of an administrative or sort of policy-based operation for those who want to pursue community engagement at a more landscape level. So I'll sort of jump down to some of the agreements, and it's an agreement with DC. There can be money changing hands. We generally don't pay, but it's sort of, hey, we've got a piece of property. Do you want to do something on that piece of property? So we have an agreement, administrative agreement to get that done. And it's they vary widely. I just put a few up here: land management to park maintenance, education outreach, recreation, civic awareness. And what it does is it allows, if you have some mobility issues, but you want to be involved, this allows a more, like I said, administrative, education, outreach opportunity for you to be involved with your community. And as all to improve community health and wellness. One last thing, I've mentioned program registration. It is important, and I won't go into a lot of detail, but for some of the programs, what's called a WebTrack. A WebTrack account may be required to register for each program. So what is WebTrack? It is DPR's universal registration system. I'll leave it at that. It's a massive, massive platform, but it's pretty easy to use. And this is the website to create your account. And when your account is created, you can search for anything from not just the programs I mentioned. There can be, swimming or basketball or whatever you have, archery, anything. All kind of programs are in there. I mean, hundreds of programs. But that is the account that you need. And I will share this this slide deck with anybody who wants it. And I'll go back to the top for. That's just my contact information. Did I go by 15?
You're good.
Okay.
You're good. Thank you so much. Mr. King, excuse me. Going back to the first speaker. The next speaker on our program is Charles Raminigi from DC Greens. Welcome.
Thank you. How's everyone doing today?
Great.
My name is Charles Raminigi. I'm here representing DC Greens. We are a food access and health equity organization, a nonprofit organization here in the district. We've been around since about 2009, and we have a mission to advance health equity by building a just and resilient food system here in the district. So we do a lot of food justice work, food access work, we do food is medicine work, food insecurity work. And today I'm here to talk about our work in urban agriculture. In June of 2022, we opened up an urban farm in Oxen Run Park called The Well at Oxen Run, powered by DC Greens. It's an amazing space. We are actually a partner farm of DPR, so thank you, Mr. Brian, for that. And the partnership has been great, and the space is amazing. So we're
thank you.
Okay. We're a 1 acre urban farm and wellness space. This is what we like to call ourselves, or urban farm or community farm, where you can come in and do so many things. The first is you can learn how to farm. We have educational programs that we put on every month around farming and container farming. If you live in a row house and you want to learn how to farm or garden on your balcony or in your backyard, we have classes for that. If you were interested in learning how to do some more intensive farming, you could definitely come and volunteer with us or take one of our urban agriculture classes that span a few weeks if you wanted to really learn, hey, what is it like to be on a farm and get the shovel out and get the tools out and farm like you're in the South or something like that. You can get that experience at our farm as well. And all you have to do is scan that QR code on the back of that sheet, and you can definitely sign up for one of the classes, any of the classes that we have. So farming is a great way to get physically active, get outside, reconnect with nature. It's a great mental health activity, physical health. So we definitely encourage all people to come out and do some farming work with us. In addition to that, we are also a wellness space. So we do wellness classes as well. So we don't just grow the food, but we learn how to eat the food. So we do healthy eating classes, cooking classes every month. So if you're interested in, hey, I just harvested some cucumbers or some turnips or some sweet potatoes, I just learned how to cook with eggplant, right? We not only teach you how to grow it, but we'll teach you how to prepare it as well and how to store it, right? If you take, 5 or 6 pounds of sweet potatoes and you're not gonna, eat it that day or that week, we'll teach you how. We have classes on how to preserve food as well, so it's a really great resource there. So we spoke about farming, we spoke about wellness classes, and we also have community events at the well. And so I passed out this flyer here. This flyer is for one of our biggest community events that we do every month. It's called Wellness Market Saturdays. The dates for the rest of the year are on the flyer. And this is just a big community celebration type of event. I like to call it like a health fair and a farmer's market kind of mashed together. You can come to the well on these days. You can participate in some volunteering. You can take a wellness class. You can get some produce. Everything that we grow, we distribute on these days, so some food access opportunities. And you can bring your compost from home. So we're also a composting site. Anybody here familiar with composting or do composting themselves? Of course. So if you're ever in the Oxen Run Park neighborhood, you can always bring your compost down to the well and we'll compost it for you, and you can take compost back home if you needed to put in your garden. So Wellness Market Saturday is there. Again, we do it the last Saturday of every month or the second to last Saturday for some months. And it's just a great way to connect with the community, meet new people, learn new skills. I think everyone here today is promoting getting outdoors. And the well is just one of many sites across the district where you can get out and get active. So we have the Wellness Market Day flyer on one side, and if you turn to the back, we have 3 QR codes. One for volunteering. If you want to volunteer, our volunteer days are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 11 to 2. So definitely come and spend some time with us there. Our events, if you're interested in any of the events I was talking about, you can scan that events QR code and just look out for the different events that we have going on throughout the growing season. So from now through October, we'll be doing events. And partnership opportunities. Hey, if you have some type of skill, if you're really good at container gardening, or if you know how to grow herbs, and you want to teach a course and really give back to your community in that way, you can scan that partner link, and we'll have my team will have a conversation with you about how to get you, at the well, facilitating a class or just taking on a bigger responsibility to engage community and give back. So we offer those opportunities as well. So that's pretty much what I have, and I'll be around to answer questions for you at the conclusion of the event. So thank you.
Thank you, Charles. I'm sure whether we have Buffalo Soldiers representative here. Yeah, come on down. I did give handouts for with some information. And your name, sir?
Hardrick Crawford.
Hardrick Crawford. Here you go. Welcome, Hardrick Crawford.
Hi, folks. We are, Trooper Hill and I are members of the Greater Washington, D.C. chapter of the 9th and 10th Force Cavalry Association, aka the Buffalo Soldiers. You might be wondering, what's the Buffalo Soldiers, a black veterans organization in connection with outdoor activities? Well, we partner with the Forest Service. We do many activities with the Forest Service. pretty much most of those outdoor activities that we partner with them involve youth, young people. So you might see a Forest Service activity, or you might see us on the mall and wonder, why are Army guys there? And that's because we're there because of the youth, to educate the youth. So what I would like to do, well, for instance, Lynn, when was it? At Fort McHenry?
Fort McHenry.
Lynn and one of our troopers, also AKA, they were at Fort McHenry for Explorer Day. They were at Fort McHenry with the museum, partnering with the museum. They were planting seeds and flowers with 6th graders to get urban city, inner city youth aware of activities that are outdoors, not just asphalt, concrete. Okay, so why would the Buffalo Soldiers be partnered with the Forest Service? So what I'd like to spend most of my time doing was going over why that is the case. In 2014, we traveled to Albuquerque, New Mexico with the Forest Service and Dr. Eleanor King of Howard University.
Suspected spam.
For the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act and the 50th anniversary of
+15408.
the Wilderness Act. When we went there, we discovered Native American tribes and Westerners who are always outdoors. And this is the abstract that I read in Albuquerque, but it's a great segue to the Forest Service. The year 2026 marks the 62nd anniversary of both the Wilderness Act and the Civil Rights Act. Two very different milestones in American history. Their juxtaposition is nevertheless particularly apt because of the critical early role of the African American Buffalo Soldiers played in charting and preserving our national wilderness. From the days of the Indian Wars to the creation of the first national parks, the Buffalo Soldiers loyally served bravely and far away from America's populated areas. While the Buffalo Soldier units were deployed in many parts of the frontier following their creation in 1866, they were especially active during the Apache Wars in the Southwest. Their mission, however, was not limited to fighting. They faced an expert, mobile, and also often elusive enemy, which required good communications, a thorough knowledge of the West, roads, and knowing where the water was. Following the last of the Indian Wars, the Buffalo Soldiers assumed new duties in the West, including prominently patrolling and developing some of the first national parks before the National Park Service was created. The U.S. Army was in charge of Yosemite and Sequoia National Parks from 1891 to 1913. They used troops stationed during the winter at Presidio, San Francisco, to patrol the parks in the summer. Their duties ranged from suppressing poaching, illegal cattle, grazing, and putting out forest fires. They also worked on the infrastructure, particularly road and trail building. In 1910, there was a fire that I did not know about until maybe 10 years ago. It was called the Big Burn. It happened in Wallace, Idaho, Wallace, Montana, Avery, Idaho. The fire was so huge that newspapers reported in 1910 they could see the smoke in Chicago. Towns were burning, people were fleeing. So what happened? The Army sent G Company of the 25th Infantry Regiment, Buffalo Soldiers. Here is a picture of some of those soldiers from G Company in 1910 with a Forest Service Ranger and a Park Ranger. This was a photo in a Seattle newspaper of two women who said they barely escaped with their lives. How did they escape with their lives? G Company of the Buffalo Soldiers was assigned to Avery, Idaho. There was one train left to get out. Women and children and men were trapped. G Company was ordered to fill that train with the women and children and get them out. there was a white second lieutenant fresh out of West Point who ordered the sergeant, if any man tries to take a woman or child off this train, you are authorized to shoot them. Can you imagine that? 1910, authorizing a black man to shoot a white man? So, but what they did was they filled that train and they got those women and children out of Avery, Idaho. When they did that, of course, the soldiers had to remain behind. The soldiers and the men went to the lake, to the water, got themselves under the water as much as they could as the fire went over them. That was an incredible event that happened in 1910. So from that day forward, the Forest Service, the Park Service, and the Buffalo Soldiers have been intertwined very, very closely. When the Park Service had their 100th anniversary in 2016, they invited us to Arlington National Cemetery, and they wanted to photograph us. Of course, we were wearing our 1880s uniforms because we were actually among the first park rangers. So there is a rich history of this Black Veterans Organization with outdoor events. So if you see us with the Park Service, or particularly with Mike Hill and the Forest Service, it's because of that deep historical relationship that we've had with them for well over a century. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming and sharing. Appreciate you. Let's give him another hand. All right. Next on our program is Park Services. I'm not sure if anyone from the Park Services is here, but you did get a handout on the Buffalo Soldiers. You've got a handout from.
We don't have that.
No handout from the soldiers.
Hold on 1 second. I'll pass these down.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone who presented. Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions for anyone?
Or not for the guests.
Excuse me?
Not for the presenters. I have a
That's what I'm
question
talking
though.
about, yeah. So that's,
Yeah.
so if you don't have any questions, you can ask them after the symposium is over, but I'm gonna call up now our director for some closing remarks. And,
Well, before we
but
close,
we're gonna still come
Yeah.
back to the questions. So I'll just call up Director Purdy for any words that he wants to share with the group. And again, thank you those that came out to share.
+1 540 759.
And you turned that totally off.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
So I'm so happy everybody came out to hear about all these different resources, especially as it is trying to get warmer, hopefully stay warmer. For all these resource deployments, I always want something, take something away. So y'all might see me down at DC Greens a little bit later this spring. I did want to just comment on something else. Because DPR put out some great opportunities, DC Greens talked about some things, Forest Service. There's a rich history, as the Buffalo Soldiers commented, about veterans and being outdoors. I remember some of my worst training moments were out in the woods. You know, ticks all on me, you know, sleeping under a lean-to that's leaking and it's raining. But, you know, something we all experienced and we got through. So, you know, that has forever tied me to the outdoors. I do a little bit of farming in my backyard, want to do a little bit more. So, like I said, I'll be down at DC Greens to learn more of a skill set and how I can produce some more food. But for those who go out and utilize these resources and find that they really like it, there's a little known program through the USDA where they offer loans for farms and ranches to veterans specifically. And they also provide entrepreneurship training if you want to go into those realms, and they do mentorship also. So it's a great opportunity after you explore some of these resources here in the city, that if you want to get an urban farm, or if you want to move out further west and get a ranch, you could do that through the USDA paths and better. So just want to make sure everybody's aware of that resource as well, but definitely take advantage of the resources here in front of you. I'll say one other quick thing about DPR, because as Brian mentioned, he only hit the tip of the iceberg on all the things that they do here in the city. Even talking about renting athletic fields, so if you want to play a game or anything like that, the myriad of classes they have in regards to athletics and leisure as well is something we should take advantage of as well. So with that being said, again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Truly appreciate it. We recorded this event, so we are going to kind of share some snippets of it online. And also, I know somebody's recording here, so we'd love to connect and share hashtags later on. But again, thank you all, and now we'll take some questions from the audience. Okay, go ahead.
I want to do a status check on this Vets Ride program. There's been great fluctuation in many parts of it, and they're not as reliable. So why did they reduce it down to only 2 rides a month? That's not as one appointment and nothing else.
Sure. I thought you were going to give me an easy question.
I'm sorry?
I thought you were going to give me an easy question, but actually I have the answer for that. So basically what has happened with Vets Rides program, we had come to the near exhaustion of our funds. I found a pot of money somewhere else, and we infused that back into the Vets Rides account, or at least we are going through that process right now.
Okay.
The notification that went out to some of the riders already about 2 rides, that was to ensure that we could get to the rest of the fiscal year. If that infusion of funds did not happen, either the Vets Ride program would completely cease, or everybody would only get 2 rides per month. Luckily, as I said, we found some funding, so it's going to stay at 8 for now. But
So you're saying it's going to stay at 8? No,
correct.
down to 2.
For right now, it's going to stay at 8.
Well, it's at 2.
No,
You're going to go up to 8?
yes, so 8
Okay.
was our normal limit. Some people got a notification a little bit too early about it going down to 2.
Right.
I
It is
see.
going to stay at 8.
Okay.
Is that gonna be recorded? Because no one knows that.
I have that on YouTube, my YouTube
No,
channel?
no, sweetie, I'm talking here, no offense, but no one knows that, because we all just got the one that said 2, and that was last week, the end of the week, and May is tomorrow. So it was a little crappy. First of all, well, I'm not gonna go into too much detail about it, but I'm pissed, and I know a lot of veterans are, because we got people that have dialysis, people that are going to cancer treatments, and they just can't make it work. So you're saying that it's going to go back to 8. Is that going to be formally?
Yes, so just how you were given the word about it being 2,
Right.
we are going to send out the word again that it is 8.
Okay.
So, as I mentioned, the notification that went about the 2 was a little bit premature.
Okay. Thank
So-
you.
Yes.
Are you willing to work with the medical center with these? Because I know that they have some transportation disparities as well.
Yes, so they previously had a contract with Battle Transportation. There were some issues with Battle. I know they were actually competing in that contract again. I don't know the result of that competition, but what we have in the past, we have stepped up to support Battle when they kind of could not meet the demand.
Yeah, they don't offer, Battles doesn't go to the CRRC because they think there's no doctors there. I said there's most definitely doctors there. So I think they're using a Uber or something now. If the arrangements haven't been made, you can talk to the AOD, Administrator on Duty, and they'll order an Uber to get you to the appointment if it's, whatever. So that's one way of getting that, but it would be helpful if the Vets Ride program. Now, they were 20 minutes late today. I called yesterday to make the arrangements, and they were still 20 minutes late. So I don't know. It's a conundrum.
Yeah, and so we're going to work on it, and every year we do recompete, so sometimes there's different vendors. Hopefully we're going to get reliable vendors as we continue to go forward. But where there are issues with the vendors, we hope and we ask everybody to report that to us. So that way we know who's doing a good job and who's not when it comes time for competition again. All right.
Thank
Any other
you.
easy questions? Okay, hearing none, we do want everybody to stick around. We always like to have folks mingle and talk amongst each other. I know there's a lot of synergy in the room, especially amongst our speakers and other folks here. So please take advantage of this opportunity. Reach out to some of the speakers and ask them whatever you need to learn more about their programs. Thank you, everybody.
I'd like to mention one other thing. I forgot.
Hey, everybody. Also,